If running your business feels like a marathon that has no end, if you constantly find yourself working hard but still stuck, frustrated, even on the verge of burnout without ever achieving your goals, this video is for you, because I'm going to show you exactly what is our proven system to guarantee that you sustain high performance every single day, even when trying to achieve multiple goals. Because according to research, only 6% of entrepreneurs actually achieve their yearly goals. And those that do typically have one or two goals, so are very laser focused on the most important priorities. I'm going to show you a model to achieve multiple goals within the same 12-week time frame, so you can confidently scale your business the right way with speed, fun, and ease. As an executive coach to 6, 7, and 8-figure entrepreneurs, I've seen in my eyes how traditional goal-setting approaches fail to really deliver for elite performers like you. And this video is going to solve that for good, because I'm going to show you what is my proven system. And it all starts by understanding what type of goals and in which categories you should be pursuing. Because most traditional coaching models do not work for elite performers, because they come from premises and hypotheses that just don't work when those that are truly committed to being outstanding in their field. The most notable example of this is the Wheel of Life, which maps out life satisfaction in 8 specific domains. 1, career. 2, finances. 3, physical and mental health. 4, family and friends. 5, romantic relationship. 6, spiritual and personal growth. 7, fun and recreation. And 8, physical environment. And this is a problem because it is too general. It is all over the place, and it has 4 specific problems that make it not relevant for elite performers. First of all, it assumes balance as a virtue. When you and I both know that winners are all but balanced. They're absolutely committed on making their business, their career work, and that comes with trade-offs that they are happy to do. So balance cannot be one core defining factor of any goal setting or coaching model that we use in order to achieve our goals. The second problem with this is that it is not systematic enough. So every elite performer out there in the arts, in sports, in business, they understand that everything in the universe is systematic. It's a collection of cause-effect relationship. And for example, trying to master your health goes way beyond just health. It impacts your cognitive performance. It impacts your relationship. It impacts your energy. It impacts everything that is tied to your health. So understanding health as a cause that affects all the systems of your life is the first step towards mapping out the potential bottlenecks that may be compromising your health. And the Wheel of Life is not systematic enough in this regard. It is too simplistic, because we have to understand how elite performers are overly focused on business. And business or career is the thing that is most important to them. And every other consideration revolves around that choice. So that trade-off is an illuminated trade-off. And any goal setting or coaching methodology that you use to get to your goals must acknowledge this. And finally, it is too rigid because it assumes those 8 categories are all that matters for everyone, without taking into consideration that they might be chasing goals that are greatly exceed what the average person will be interested in chasing. So in essence, those are the reasons why the traditional coaching models, but specifically the Wheel of Life, does not apply to people like you and me. So what is the solution? Well, I didn't find a solution. So years ago, I created my own model, which I call the Selfmastered model. In essence, it postulates that for entrepreneurs, there's in essence 2 systems for life: the system of you and the system of your business. And each category is subdivided in different pillars. For the system of you, you have 4 categories, which is the category of self-development and everything that relates to performance and how you show up, your habits, your mindset, your identity, everything that pertains to your ability to manage yourself. Then you have, of course, health. Health is all the habits, all the sleep, the nutrition, the exercise, the specific protocols that you follow to stay healthy. Then we have development, which pertains to the things that you do in order to improve yourself. So we're talking about skill acquisition. We're talking about learning new things. This can take the shape of mentorship. This can take the shape of courses, of programs, or anything that you do to typically become better at what you do. And finally, we have relationship, which encompasses your significant others, your family, your friends, your acquaintances, your business partnerships, anything and everything that has to do with other humans that you connect with in order to build a better business. So those are the 4 categories of the system of you. And then within the system of your business, every business can be subdivided in 7 different pillars: product or service, marketing, sales, operations, finance, technology, and people or leadership. In essence, any goal that you set for yourself within business will fall within one of these 7 categories. So when we are trying to achieve multiple goals at the same time, we must chase goals that pertain to either the 4 categories on the personal side or the 7 categories on the business side. And the more we limit ourselves to the thing that we have already identified as important to us, the easier it becomes. This is one of the biggest advantages of my model over the Wheel of Life, because the Wheel of Life assumes that we must absolutely be interested in modifying our physical environment or spiritual personal growth or finances. When finances, for instance, for us is a natural consequence of building the business you want. So once you understand that there's a better way of actually mapping out your life and chasing goals that are actually aligned towards where you want to go, then you're ready to step number 2. Before I go into number 2, like the video and comment below if you have ever gone through the exercise of the Wheel of Life and how it could help you. So once you are clear on what are the type of goals that you should think about setting in order to really get to the next level, then there's a very important thing that we need to be mindful of. It is the fact that everything that is not aligned towards the vision that we have, everything that is outside of the path that we have selected for our life is a measure of entropy. It's a distraction. It's really something that is taking us further away from where we want to go. And the technical term for this is synergistic goals. Every goal that we set for ourselves has to be synergistic. In other words, they have to work well together. And if it's something is non-synergistic, then it is inviting entropy, inviting distraction, making it harder for us to actually get the goal. So when we set goal for ourselves and we chase them, we must make sure that we're actually working towards the same thing. I remember not long ago, one of the founders in the program asked me, dude, I've been trying to learn how to cook Vietnamese cuisine, but I'm unable to do it. Like every time I do a recipe or whatever, like I just forget it. I just feel I'm getting old. I said, like, dude, what is the relationship between Vietnamese cuisine and your SaaS business? He's the CEO of a SaaS business. Absolutely zero. So there's no context, no shared context in which Vietnamese cuisine will be relevant for him as a CEO of a startup. So he was not chasing 2 goals that were synergistic, and one goal was detracting from the other one. I can give you a personal example. The past few years, I was an academic coordinator at iBusiness School. It was basically a management role. I was managing professors, and that was not very synergistic with my role as CEO of Selfmastered, which is mostly a teaching, mentoring, coaching role. So I asked to be transformed into a professor within the same university of business school. And now I teach on both sides. I teach here at Selfmastered, but I also teach at university, right? And that is way more aligned because the skill set is the same. And the better I become as a teacher, mentor, coach here, the better professor I can be in university. So you can see how those 2 things align much better, much more easier. So the second thing you got to be clear on is, are those goals synergistic? Are we not chasing things that fall outside of the vision? Are we not making our life unnecessarily complicated by going after things that do not work well together? That is a fundamental question to ask, because oftentimes the difference between average and elite performers is just a matter of focus and structure. Okay, now we're ready for step 3, which is selecting the goals we're actually going to go after within the next 12 weeks. And it all starts by selecting what is the overarching goal that will make everything possible. And let's do it with a clear example. Let's assume that what we want to do is to have 20 new sales for our flagship program. Let's assume we have an online business. But in order to be able to get 20 new clients, there's a lot of sales and marketing activities that we need to do in order to have a chance of actually enrolling those 20 clients. And here's where the sub goals come into play. Because if we're going after 20 clients, we first need, assuming we don't know how to do it, we first need to learn how to master copywriting, how to write persuasive writing on the internet to attract the right client of client. Let's assume that we're zero skilled on this area. So mastering copywriting will be the first goal that we're going after. Then goal number 2, of course, is to have the most successful launch. Let's assume that we are aiming to have 5 people on the phone and we're going to be closing 40% of them. That's 20. But also, in order to get leads, we need an Instagram account. And let's assume that we have no Instagram account. We're starting from scratch. We need an Instagram account. But also, we need a lead nurturing mechanism. So in essence, in order to have a successful launch, we need to have first a very clear objective, 20 sales that will come from 50 people we're going to be talking on the phone. We're going to be having a marketing vehicle that starts on Instagram, follows on email, and finally leads to a webinar. So we have really 5 sub goals within the super kind of campaign. The first one is to create an Instagram account. The second one is to create an email sequence and an email marketing system. We also need to create a webinar. We need to have a sales script ready, and then we need to actually close those clients. So those are a lot of micro goals that all pertain to the system of creating 20 clients for your business. And here's what the magic happens, because I'm going to show you my own model called the Toolkit model, which is a model I created 5 years ago by adapting Google's OKRs and going 2 levels deeper to the level of the calendar that you must follow in order to achieve a successful launch. This part of the video is very tactical, so take pen and paper, pause when you need, because this is going to radically transform how you typically execute in business. So the first step is to understand how the Toolkit model works. Toolkit stands for theme, objective, key results, initiatives, and projects. The theme is the overall kind of topic that you are going to be tackling on the next 12 weeks. So for instance, on the copywriting side, that is, the topic will be persuasive communication. For the Instagram, the theme will be organic marketing. For the email, the system will also going to be a lead nurturing mechanism. So this is like the overall kind of general description of what it is that we're going after. And then the objective is the specific thing that we are going after. So for instance, for the marketing side on the copywriting, the objective in this case, we're going to leave it very high level. Let's assume it's just master copywriting. On marketing on the Instagram funnel, the objective is create a reliable marketing funnel. We're not yet going to the level of the key results, which is where we put a lot of detail into it. Then for email marketing, the system is create email marketing system. And finally, sales is to have a profitable webinar. So these are the 4 goals that we are going after in the pursuit of 20 sales. Okay, cool. That's fantastic. But let's go 1 level deeper to the level of the key results. So key result number 1 on the master copywriting is increase all metrics landing pages by 50%. That is the result that we are going after. But in order to get that result, we also need to map out a development goal for us. Remember that the development category is part of the system of you. So in this case, let's assume that we're going to be reading the top 5 books on copywriting, and we're also going to be handwriting the 20 most important sales letter ever written in English. If we do that over the course of the next week, we're most likely going to guarantee that we get a 50% uplift on every single metric on landing pages, email sequences, upsells, downsells, all that stuff. Then the next level is the level of the initiatives, in which I would recommend, for this specific example, having 90 daily minutes of learning copywriting, of reading books, handwriting sales letter, and overall upskilling yourself. In order for what? In order to, on the second session, on the second 90 minutes of the day, start creating marketing assets that are better than the ones you had before. So new landing pages, new email sequences, new upsells, downsell flows, all sorts of things in which you're going to be deploying your newfound copywriting skills. And once you have mapped out the initiative, so the recurring things you're going to be doing every single week, the only thing that's left to map out is the projects, the things that you need to have completed in order to get to that goal. In this specific case, that would be, creating a new landing page, creating a new email sequence, having a new webinar script, all of those things that you know were going to help you become better at this copywriting thing. So that is a tooltip number one. And the goal here is to master copywriting. We have 3 specific key results that we are going after. Now, the next step is to just map out the next tooltip, which is, again, aligned with the overall goal. The next tooltip is having an Instagram funnel. And that Instagram funnel has 2 key results. The first key result is measured in followers. How many followers are we able to get over the next 12 weeks? Let's assume it's 10,000 followers. And 2, and most important, how many leads did we get in the email system? Let's assume it's 300 leads. So we're going to be creating a system on Instagram that has 2 specific key results we're going after: 10,000 followers and 300 leads onto the emailed list. And then what would be the initiatives in this case? Well, we could say that we should be publishing 3 to 4 marketing assets every single day and engaging in conversations and replying to every comment every single day. Right? So those are 2 different initiatives. One is publication of new assets, and the second one is actually networking, meeting people, talking to people. Those initiatives, recurring nature, happening every day and help you build yourself into a authority on Instagram. And then the projects on this toolkit might be creating a new profile if you don't have one, and maybe creating a new A/B testing methodology that helps you over time get better at Instagram. Great. Then the third toolkit now is email marketing. Remember that we're going down the funnel. In this case, we'll be having 100 webinar signups would be like a great kind of result of a good email sequence. And in this case, the initiative will be dividing 1 ring-fence session a week to work the email sequence, to write emails, to A/B test titles, hooks, and the body copy so that over time you improve your conversion rate. The first project will be having a new organic marketing sequence, and project 2 might be creating a new pre-webinar sequence, and the third project might be actually having a post-webinar kind of script. Right? So here we have 3 projects that are intimately related to the goal of this toolkit. And the fourth toolkit in this case will be related to sales. Let's assume they want to have a profitable webinar. Of course, out of those 300 leads that our Instagram funnel got us, we got 100 webinar signups. And from those 100 webinar signups, we absolutely want to have 50 sales calls. And we assume they're going to be closing 40% of them in order to get the 20 clients. So in this case, the number 1 KPI would be having precisely 50 sales calls. And the second key result will be having a 40% conversion rate. And in this case, what we could do is we have a 90-minute session every single day in order to do sales-related tasks. And maybe the project here will be having a webinar script written. So this is how you map out 4 different goals that are all aligned towards the same objective, which is having 20 new clients. And by being systematic about how you actually map this out, you're already miles ahead at the average entrepreneur who has no idea how to consistently show up and do the work that is necessary. Now, there's one final thing that will guarantee you get this right, and it's plotting that into your calendar. This is the secret sauce. Most goal-setting methodologies do not work, first because they're too general, they're not adapted to high performers, but also they don't dive deep enough into how you actually make it work. And here's how you make it work. It's very simple. If we mapped out that we have 3 ring-fence sessions per day, 2 for marketing and 1 for sales, we put that into the calendar. Assuming we start working at 9 a.m., we can work 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., then rest 30 minutes, and then 11 to noon 30, and that will be marketing. Then we can take a longer break and then come back in the early afternoon and work for 90 more minutes. If you are consistently organized and schedule your day according to the initiatives and the projects you mapped out on the toolkits, and you go and execute on them, there's no way you will not achieve these goals, because your performance will be by definition at the highest level. You will consistently be doing the things you know you need to do in order to get where you wholeheartedly want to get. This is how you become an elite performer in business. This is how you can outperform every single one of your competitors that is running around with their head chopped off, not knowing how to consistently do this. So this is my system. This is what I use with myself. I organize my company around this toolkit model, and we teach this to every single client. And more than 300 at this point have consistently learned to execute like elite performers. You don't need a special talent, a special IQ, nothing. You need to be conscientious on how you design your goals, how to make sure you're working on the right goals that are actually synergistic, and being motivated with the end result. Anyone can do this. So if you want to have the best Q4 of your life now, apply this, because I guarantee that it will work for you. And if you want our proven help and having us taking you one-on-one with one-on-one accountability to the end result, book a call with us. Now, if you want to go deep into what does elite performance look like in business, what are the things that could be optimized, check this video here, because it goes 3 levels deeper on how elite performance in business get the right things done. See you in the next video.